The intensification of human activities over recent decades has resulted in an increase in the emission of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, in particular carbon dioxide. The consequence has been a worrying acceleration in global warming. One of the main culprits has been identified as the use of fossil fuels. Fossil fuels discharge enormous quantities of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, thus releasing the carbon which had previously been fixed underground in the form of oil, coal, or natural gas during the Carboniferous period between 345 and 280 million years ago. The problem has been made more acute by the reduction of the land area covered by forests, reducing the potential for the sequestration of carbon dioxide by trees and plants through photosynthesis. To counteract the climatic change, attention has been focused on two areas: agricultural crops, which sequester carbon from the atmosphere and fix it in the soil, and the production of biomass for renewable energy. These solutions offer the most economic advantages, at least in the short term. This is the principle behind the project Seq Cure, integrated systems to enhance sequestration of carbon-producing energy crops by using organic residues. The activities which make up the Seq Cure project took place between December 2006 and June 2010. In brief, the three Seq Cure goals are as follows: to promote the use of organic residues in the production of biomass destined for agro-energy production chains, to develop a methodology for the calculation of greenhouse gas emissions and carbon sequestration deriving from the change of use of farming soils, to increase knowledge and awareness of farmers and technicians of problems deriving from greenhouse emissions, promoting at the same time the activation of economically sustainable agro-energy chains. These goals have been achieved through the development of experimental farms, where 3 different production chains were set up and monitored from both the environmental and the economic point of view, following the process from the production of biomass through to the energy conversion. The 3 production chains followed were wood, oil, and biogas. For the wood energy chain, the project followed its introduction onto farms located on low-lying plains. Wood chips from the farm itself were used in heat production.
Qua siamo nell'azienda agraria sperimentale Steward, che è un'azienda...
Here we are in the Steward Experimental Farm, a farm in the province of Parma, specialising in agricultural experimentation, where we're also monitoring the biomass production, and thus agro-energy and renewable energy sources. One of the new goals set out in the farm's plan was to develop energy self-sufficiency as much as possible. Consequently, investments were made in renewable sources in the form of photovoltaic plant and a biomass boiler fueled by woody biomass and wood chips. The boiler's fueled by wood chips produced on the farm itself through the cultivation of a short rotation poplar. All these activities have been followed and monitored as part of the Life Seq Cure project. Additionally, we, in collaboration with CRPA, are monitoring the function of the boiler itself because of its innovative design. This involves evaluating the short rotation poplar yields, the energy conversion efficiency and ash emission, one of the aspects which is to be checked in boilers of this type, and to understand how to optimize this very short cost-reducing energy chain, also for the farms planning to introduce it. In the case of the oil production chain, attention was focused on the economic viability of producing electric power and heat based on sunflower cultivation. The experimental farms involved included the Comoros farm in Osimo in the province of Ancona. The Comoros farm purchases the sunflowers from contracted farms or on the local market.
Questo prodotto, questo seme, viene pulito.
Seeds are first cleaned and then pressed mechanically in our pressing plant, where we produce sunflower oil, and this is then filtered and transported to the point where the energy production is situated. A public building, the Palo Rossini Sports Centre in Ancona. Once the seeds have been pressed, the oil obtained is filtered and then used in energy production by means of an energy cogenerator. The electricity produced is sold to the grid manager, and the heat energy recovered from the cogenerator is used to meet part of the heating requirements of the Ancona Sports Centre. It's important to emphasise that the product obtained from the pressing, the so-called oil cake, is not wasted, being used as feed for beef cattle. In this case too, the production chain is short and able to exploit local production. As things stand at the moment, biogas production is the most common energy chain to be found in the farming world because of the ease of its management system and the costs of raw materials, virtually non-existent if agro-industry waste is used as the biomass.
Il progetto Seq Cure ha curato in
Of the various agro-energy production chains, the Seq Cure project devoted particular attention to biogas, which proved to be one of the most interesting agro-energies. The co-digestion system was identified as being of considerable potential. That is, the digestion of mixtures of livestock, manure and energy crops. For example, in the specific case of the Po River Valley, maize, sorghum and triticale, after they've been made into silage. In all the project's experimental farms where we followed the biogas production, we thus checked efficiency, effectiveness and economic viability of the inclusion of energy crops mixed with livestock manure, acting as a substratum for an anaerobic digestion. We've obtained significant results which demonstrates the efficiency of the process, its effectiveness in terms of production of electricity and heat, together with the economic advantages flowing from this technique for livestock and other farms. Partly due to the incentives available, this kind of energy, in fact, represents an excellent additional source of revenue for both livestock and crop production farms in our area, and in general throughout the Po River Valley, the area most suited for the development of this kind of technology in Italy. The data produced by the Seq Cure project has made it possible to create a calculation model for greenhouse gas emissions and carbon sequestration. This model will be made available on the internet to technicians and will make it possible for anyone to draw up an environmental balance sheet of their crops. Online free information offices can be found on the project website www.crpa.it/secure. This explains the economic and environmental opportunities offered by biomass production and its transformation into renewable energy. This service represents a technical and information support specializing in the three production chains of biogas, wood and oil which have been identified by the project. There is also a fourth information centre which offers information on the law governing the economic incentives available for energy produced from renewable sources. The final goal of the Seq Cure project is to influence farming practices through the results of the project. As a means of facilitating this process, details of the energy chain information offices and all results obtained over the 3 years of activity can be found on the site www.crpa.it/secure. Finally, many articles based on the project work have been published and direct initiatives have been organised, such as conferences, as well as demonstration days on experimental farms.